everybody. How are you? It is apparently it's a Wednesday. I really had no idea until just recently that that's what today was, and now it's evening. So, what can you do? I feel like at this 1 month mark, I have really turned the corner with my healing in my arm. It feels a lot better. I'm able to get a lot more movement. I still can't lift it above my head or out or do any kind of shrugging or anything, but it's it's definitely reached a point where it's different. It's better. So that's good. Thank you. I feel all the prayers coming. And my viewership and watch time is down by 50%. And I think that is because I am just overwhelming you guys with the amount of information I'm throwing at you. And that's okay. I want to do that as a way that we've laid this foundation for all questions going back to the Watts discovery so that nobody has to feel like they need to listen to it all or become a subject matter expert themselves on all things Watts. But then if somebody comes into a future chat and says, well, I heard this and whatever, and we can go, okay, that stemmed from this over here, most likely. And then, like a legless lizard, apparently it grew legs and crawled up somebody's boot and it came out their mouth, right? Something like that. And I will never shame anybody for not knowing the case or being like, you don't know the case. This was for me mainly because I absolutely was a part of the problem in the beginning where I listened to somebody who I thought was credible. And that's fine. It would just turn out to be like a gossip show. Like, where you think that a show, like maybe like, I don't know, what was that? The Hills or whatever, you think that it's a actual show, but it's actually a scripted reality show, as opposed to reality shows that are aimed in a way. And so I was repeating some things, and then when I did so, um, you know, one of my friends across the, one of my good besties across the pond said, "How could this be? How could that be?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And even repeating it to myself didn't sound like it could make any sense based on what I know about how lame CPS is and how they don't have the authority to be putting in cameras and telling people to stay in a room and all this stuff. But so I was like repeating it because I was like, well, an attorney was saying it, because like Emily D. Baker, she's not gonna, go and say anything that's not true. Emily D. Baker, I adore her love for the cursey words like I do, but apparently um it is very much a censored thing as you go up and are able to be monetized. So I have, just I wanted to read all of the facts for myself to go back and see where I made errors and apologize for those errors that I made, as in saying there was no ultrasound ever because I couldn't find it. Look at, I mean, it was like it took me 60 hours or so of research before I actually found validated proof that I could see that there was an ultrasound of hopefully an alive baby because it didn't say. I mean, somebody could get in there and argue and be like, okay, what were the results of that? Was the baby not healthy? Was there a problem with the baby that she had not told him? Was the baby really not near the dates that she said it was and he knew that there was no way? Was everything fine with the baby, but they didn't give a rat's ass? They just wanted to know if it was a boy or a girl. And she made sure that she could keep up the lie that it was a boy until hopefully it was time to give birth. And then she'd either go switch it out in the freaking hospital somehow to get a boy, or be the person who's like, it was the all the time it was the umbilical cord between her legs. Oh, but you know what, we had a backup and we just named her Nikki, and now it's gonna be Nicole or Nicole, whatever. Shenanigans, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. So I do know that the first time he got her alone after the it is alleged that she did have that private ultrasound that she brought her FOF with her, then, well, she made sure that he was not alone with her for the most intimate, quiet moment that parents should share, seeing their baby for the first time. They should want to know that, the heart is working and that the baby has 10 toes and fingers. And then if it doesn't, what's the plan? So, Anyway, I, started reading it to myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get anything out of this by sitting there, looking at it by myself. I'm going to doze off. I'm going to take a bunch of notes. And then if somebody asks me something, I'm going to go through all the notes and be like, hold please, I saw something. So, for me to be able to narrate it, it's putting it in my mind better. Um, I didn't understand it when people were just going through it line by line and then commenting on whatever, because I could never get the breadth of the whole story, or what it was a part of. So no matter how I tried, I couldn't find that information. So I have no problem if nobody else is listening to this, and this has just been good practice for me to, talk to myself, learn how to do the internal camera, um, work on those things. No problem whatsoever. As for, I'm so grateful I've got 844 of you along with me. The fact that I am speaking out in my own way with my opinions that are not popular because they go up against the narrative, then I do not have a channel that is booming with subscribers. I've never bought a subscriber. I've never made a cent. I've never been sent anything. I don't have anything like that. Okay. And at this time, I worked it out, and I've spent about, definitely I'm in the 120 hours of my time, and I've probably invested, about $75 in documents and research fees. So, at my job when I was working, what I make, like, $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and then that. So I'm in, and I'm putting my time in so that I can be a part of the bigger picture where it is the truth. If that means that, you know, I never get to hit that 1,000 where I can start to get monetized, that's okay, because I'd rather be part of the truth and not be a freaking sellout and, bow down to these people who want to push me into things that I don't fundamentally believe, and then I can't palate it, and it gets stuck in my throat, my stomach, and I feel bad because, then what? I accepted $20 to change what I wanted to say because somebody wanted to give me $20 to say it. It's like, I'm not that cheap of a hoe. I might be a cheap hoe, but not that cheap of a hoe. And just so many things, where I was, under this thing that, these people would come along and offer me a chair and a microphone and a new computer and everything to do what they wanted me to do. That doesn't happen. Okay? It doesn't happen. I'm telling you. There's not like all of these, attackers. Like I say, my ratio is about 5 to every 100. So I've got about 5% of people who say really nasty things and accuse me of bashing a dead person. Because that's the only thing. They can't attack the issue. They can't say, hey, this isn't true, because this is proof that it is true, and nobody wants to hear it, and nobody can explain it. That it is possible that there wasn't one offender that night. That it is possible that both people did a lot of stupid things that contributed to the unaliving of those girls. And that's the problem. If the little girls weren't involved, I don't really think I'd give a flying possum about this. But nothing was there that looked like these girls were in a high-risk lifestyle where they would lose their life. Nothing about the active narrative suggests a victimology profile that matches these 3 females having more of a chance of surviving in downtown Chicago living on the street than they did in a beautiful home in Colorado. Nothing. Why is that? Why is that acceptable? That's not acceptable to me. Something isn't right. And, I just want to be a part of the truth. Now, I am not going to be solely a Watts channel. I I don't know how many people have been able to do this for this long because it's repetitive, it's redundant, and it's frustrating. And the bottom line is if Christopher Watts doesn't give a care in the world about his situation, and he's, accustomed to feeling institutionalized, so when he was institutionalized, his life was probably a little less stressful. He probably just, doesn't actively get demeaned and exploited every day. But he can actually form a thought of his own. I mean, I hope that he's working out. I hope that, he gets out during his time. I hope that he's able to continue the conversations with his sister and parents. However, I don't believe that that's the case. I think that he's been foolish again and misled by females with the wrong intention. We see that in the ridiculous book that got all the media exposure. But, I took that live interview where I heard her repeating what he was saying and whatnot, and took that and made that part of the truth where we understand a little bit more of where his mind is coming to a point of more clarity, if you will. So I have to not say the F words and stuff until I'm fully on like Patreon or something, okay? So that is the part where, yes, I am being a sellout and not speaking as freely as I wanted to. And it's also, I just want to explain it because, in the beginning when I was, speaking freely, I was getting a lot of, what do you call it, without swearing, about me, saying those words and, could do without that and everything like that. It's part of the way that Americans speak. It is, always has been. I mean, it's, if you don't think that your teenagers speak like that at school, you're very naive. And I'd rather have them be able to speak and express their frustrations through language than by bottling it all up and hiding things, doing drugs, etc., etc. Where it was limited to only men being able to speak that way, and men would have their off jokes, their filthy jokes and stuff like that. I want to be a part of that. I love laughter. If I have a vice, it's laughter. And if you can laugh yourself through the most dismal of situations, you've got a edge on your enemy, and you're able to think on your feet. And more and more television shows are going to channels that you privately subscribe to, simply because then they're able to say the words and talk in the way that Americans do and say the F words and whatnot. So your Netflix, your Hulu, all that stuff, I'll pay $5 a month or whatever to listen to freedom of expression and speech. And if ultimately that's the way that I need to go to Patreon so that I can still freely express myself, then I will. For right now, my channel is not being attacked, but we know that that can change on any given day at any given time. Probably the last few videos that I've done are probably right where somebody's hearing them and writing active letters. But when YouTube reviews the thing, I'm not wrong. I'm expressing my opinion, putting it in with the discovery. So is that where I'm being a part of the problem because I'm expressing my opinion and this is supposed to be all truth? Maybe. But you know what? I'm not just going to sit there and start with everything just being discovery and not interject my opinions, because I love to impart those upon you, the world. So hello, world. Hello, 844 of you all over. Hello, South America. Hello, Brisbane. Hello, Rhode Island. Hello, Jersey. Hello, Baltimore. Hello, Virginia. Hello, Seattle. Hello, San Francisco. All of you, and more, and more. I see you, Florida. I see all of you. So thank you for being there. I mean, we are forming a united front all around the world. Oh, truth of the matter is that there are several YouTube commentators that do not speak a word of English that do Watt's commentary, and they repeat the narrative because then, probably articles that were from the bigger magazines and whatnot were bought by their press, and so they have it all upside down and sideways. And according to the one, like I say, she thinks that the one who pushed this whole narrative and put so much pressure on the cops to do what she said believes that the food was cross-contaminated at the bridal shower or whatever, and that has something to do with what happened. What is she saying? That the whole family came over and cross-contaminated their food, and SW had a massive attack of the craps? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that infers. Oh, I just, beyond me. So, anyway, without further ado, we will shut that off. We will make sure that Boo Boo's not terrorizing anybody. Ooh, where'd you go? Hopefully he's just using his litter robot. Boo Boo! Come on! Time to go night-night. Come on. Boy, what a good boy you are. Did you just use your litter robot like a good boy? Oh boy. We'll take a little nap, okay? And then we'll watch TV. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, he's been a little testy today. He woke up trying to attack Scoundrella, and she was growling at him and everything at 7 a.m. And his Scoundrella just wanted to be left alone to go and vomit underneath the table like usual because she had to eat fast because he was coming. And we took nap one together. He took my shoulder pillow, so I was, of course, uncomfortable and couldn't move because he had his claw in my belly fat. He thinks that's another big pillow of his own. So, keeping him occupied here. Good night-night. Okay, you had a little bit of catnip. You're okay. Good night-night there, okay? Give Mom a little bit of time. Okay, so. Okay. We're going to start, and we are starting on page 1320 of 1960. I kept saying 1690. I guess that was wishful thinking. And that's Discovery page 1464. And we're going to start on the synopsis here. And it's dated 10/17/2018 at 13:32, so that's about 1:32 in the afternoon. With a 32, got a lot of threes in there, and we know what that means because look at this. In the numerology and the tarot, okay, look at this. This was timed at 13:32:32 on page 3 of 6. On page 1320 of 1960. You've got a lot of threes and twos, and what the three has become, somebody who's in numerology would be like, oh. But then again, you got the 1464, so then you've got the twos and the four, so who knows? Maybe I'm thinking about algebra, who knows? All right, from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, the synopsis reads, on 8/14/2018, I, investigative assistant analyst Julian Ganley, responded to the Frederick Police Department to provide analytical assistance during a missing person investigation. The action taken was on 8/14/2018 at 3:14 p.m. I received a text from CBI agent Tammy Lee requesting me to preserve phone records for Shanann Watts, 910-850-3286, and Chris Watts at 910-304-1702. She also asked if I could find and preserve Facebook records for both Shanann and Chris. Well, the Tam burglar's all over the social media. She's like, I want every Facebook message. I sent 2 preservation requests to ATT Mobility for Chris and Shanann's phones. Around 3:50 p.m., I also submitted a preservation request for Shanann Watts' Facebook account. I was not able to locate an account for Chris Watts. That's because he deleted it. After completing these requests, Agent Tammy Lee asked if I could come to the Frederick Police Department to assist on scene. I arrived at the Frederick PD at 6:34 p.m. and was briefed on any updates. Now, even if you delete your profile through Facebook, there's still a cloud, there's still Facebook, there's still Zuckerberg, whatever his name is. So I'm sure that they could subpoena Zuckerberg and they could find it and go through what was there. Nothing's ever undone on the internet. Believe me. Well, at the police department on 8/14/2017, I was forwarded information received from Tony Husky, a manager with Anadarko, regarding Chris Watts' GPS records for July and August in his work vehicle. By placing the given coordinates in Google Maps, I was able to determine the likely path he took on the morning of 8/13/2018 and his first significant stop that morning. This information was shared with the CBI, FBI, and Frederick Police Department. I also ran any residential addresses that he spent significant time at through public and criminal justice databases to establish a pattern of life and any relevant associates. No persons of note were discovered through this analysis. I was also forwarded the initial returns from the Verizon exigency request by FBI agent Kevin Hoyland. This record was for Chris Watts' work phone, 720-390-9424. I was asked to run the subscriber data in an attempt to establish a timeline for Chris Watts for Sunday, 8/12/2018 and Monday, 8/13/2018. Each unknown phone number was run through criminal and public data sources to identify the subscriber data. This information was forwarded to FBI agent Kevin Hoyland and CBI agent Tammy Lee. Once the information was forwarded, I uploaded the records to our cell phone analysis software, which is in parentheses GeoTime, to analyze call patterns and timeline information. The software automatically converts all data from UTC Coordinated Universal Time to Mountain Standard Time when applicable. I left Frederick for the night around 11:30 p.m. The next morning, 8/15/2018, at 8:07 a.m., I received information from CBI agent Stacy Galbraith that Chris Watts possibly had a girlfriend, Nikki Kessinger 970-. Redacted. This information was provided by Tony Husky. Husky forwarded an email communication between Kessinger and Watts that may be relevant. Agent Galbraith requested that I do a full workup on this individual. I completed searches in public and criminal justice databases to prepare a full and complete law enforcement support packet. The packet was forwarded to all relevant law enforcement personnel. While at the command post on 8/15/2018, I received a call return from Verizon Wireless for Nicole Kessinger. I'm stopping because it's in capitals. The way it's spelled is Nichol. Does anybody not see Nico in that? Come on. She knew. She knew, and she was like, why don't we name the boy Nico and the girl Nicole, and it's spelled like this? I mean, come on. Oh. Let's say it's a boy. Let's tell Chris it's a boy, and it's going to be Nico, and then when it comes out a girl, Nicole, Nichol. And then it'll be the same name as. Come on, you can't make this stuff up. Anyway, Agent Kevin Hoyland and I agreed that I would analyze the document for any relevant content while he would analyze the phone tools. I highlighted the document to illustrate any contact between Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts. Additionally, I received the returns from AT&T for both Shanann Watts and Chris Watts' personal phones. I ran both returns through GeoTime and noted any relevant calls during times of interest. The software automatically converts all data from UTC to MST when applicable. I also researched criminal and public data sources to attempt to identify any unknown contacts in the phone returns. Throughout the rest of the day, I completed any necessary searches to identify contact information for relevant parties in the investigation. On 8/15/2018, I also received a copy of Cellbrite cell phone Cellbrite cell phone dump that was done by Tacona Police Department on Chris Watts' personal phone. Like the other phones, Agent Kevin Hoyland and I came to the agreement that I would analyze the content and he would analyze the phone tools. Throughout the next several weeks, I started building a timeline on I2 Analysis Notebook to illustrate any relevant events in the weeks leading up to the homicide. I pulled my data from official police reports, cell phone returns from the phone providers, Shanann Watts, Chris Watts' personal, Chris Watts' work, Nicole Kessinger, and the Cellbrite dump on Chris Watts' phone, and screenshots taken directly from Shanann Watts' friend's phones. The timeline is not a complete representation of all data available and should be considered a draft. On 9/11/2018, it was determined that another investigation would complete the timeline in another software that is more easily shared with the group. My work on the timeline ceased at this point. End of report. And then this has all of the attachments that are stated that are included. And then the CBI, this is where it says that everything is included because it says Shanann Apple Watch, Shanann Personal 3286, 4-minute stop at 201. Content, financial apps on Shanann's phone. Oh, I wish we could get that. Financial apps on Shanann's phone. Betcha that's why Christopher Watts did not know her password. Let me see here. Were those ever pulled as a supplemental? I don't think that it ever led to what these are. I mean, because then it goes handwritten notes from Ganley, INET Now, app issues, interaction log, Kessinger Nicole, LESP, I don't know what that is. Oh, law enforcement supplemental packet, maybe? And then it says Kessinger Nicole, McCoy preservation, Nicole phone Excel, preservation requests for Chris Watts, production of records for Xfinity, Shanann Facebook sheet photo, Shanann personal preservation request, Tuesday morning Nikki and Chris, Watts house to job site, Watts Chris, Anadarko Mountain Time calls to Bill Clyde, current messages, Chris Watts July, Chris Watts August, Vivant chat. What's Vivant chat? And then the draft of the timeline. All right. And then one of my little besties told me not to be mad, but she falls asleep when she listens to this. That's fine. that is a compliment to me, because there are people who work hard to do um, videos that are ASMR, that calm people. If I work like a sleeping pill or ASMR to you, that is flattering. There are other channels, like I've told you guys, that I use to put me to sleep. I like to listen to other people talking about subjects that are not confrontational, unexpectedly loud or upsetting. Um, and on our big screen, my husband and the cats, my grandma's feather bed has often 3 cats. Often Scoundrel is under the bed growling, but so the growling bed, and then Mom kisses and boos on me. We have to, have the chastity cats between us. But on the big screen, we have to have cat calming music to put cats to sleep. It works amazing for my husband. He can't go to sleep now without the cat calming music. The man's turned into a cat too. Well, anyway, this is boring. There's about 20 pages out of this almost 2,000 page document that have relevance. And that's my point in a lot of this. And that's why, this is my rough draft. And then my next project is going to be all the pages that I noted. I'm going to put in a different file for easy reference, take pictures of them, put them on the Instagram page that I've established. And have those things that are easy to access, etc., etc. I have notes on each episode that I plan on adding into the descriptions of them. Well, they're on Patreon and in YouTube. So this was just me kind of trying to fire ahead and get it all laid out and then put later. So like I say, if it makes you fall asleep, cool. It doesn't bother me. I'm flattered. So anyway, CBI investigations, Tamburglar, missing persons, adult missing person, juvenile missing person, assist Frederick PD with MPKs, total time 3050. So she spent 305 minutes, maybe 305 hours, who knows. It's a dissemination to the chain of command. Okay. So now it says crime scene autopsy report. So let's go ahead and say that okay, it does say that it does not contain a narrative, but if this is something that you're sensitive to, put your fingers in your ears and go blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear it. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Okay, it says that it's CBI crime scene autopsy report from 8/17. So it says that it's the supplemental report contains the attached CBI crime scene report related to the autopsies performed on Shanann, Bella, and Celeste on Friday, August 17, 2018. Okay. All right, it didn't say anything other than that. And then you can take your fingers out of your ears. Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Forensic Sciences Division. Okay. What do we got? Okay. Here we go. Stick those fingers back in your ears if you're sensitive to content. It is something about the autopsies. Okay. What do we got here? It says report and photographs. I do not know what the next pages hold. If you are sensitive, I would definitely say this is a TW for sensitive information. We've already been over it several times. I do not know if there are pictures because I do not peek ahead. If there are pictures, I intend on scrolling fast past them. I will not analyze those. So right here, I don't have any pictures. It says, notification on Thursday, 16 August 2018. The undersigned was called by Colorado Bureau of Investigation Crime Scene Unit Manager David Maloney. I was directed to assist in documenting the autopsies of 3 victims involved in a homicide investigation. The autopsy was scheduled for 1000 hours, 17 August at the McKee Medical Center in Loveland, Colorado. I arrived at the medical center at 0945 hours. I met with CBI agent Tammy Lee, members of the district attorney's office, as well as the Frederick Police Department, FPD, Detective Dave Baumhover. The autopsies were conducted by M. Burson, who was assisted by Jay Weiner. And remember, Weiner's a woman. All right, so. Let's see here. Don't have a way. Just going to see if I can look over and make sure that. And make sure that there wasn't anything I can't on my phone. Okay, so it says, I arrived at the medical center at 0945 hours. I met with CBI agent Tambergler, member of the district attorney's office, as well as Frederick Police Department, FPD, Detective Dave Baumhover. Autopsies were conducted by M. Burson, who was assisted by Joey Weiner, who's a woman. The autopsy of S. Watts was conducted first. I photographed the victim before and after cleaning. S. Watts' body was in an advanced state of decomposition. She was dressed in a t-shirt, bra, and panties. A large protrusion was evident near her vaginal area. The remains of a fetus were visible. Autopsy of B. Watts conducted next. I photographed the victim before and after cleaning. B. Watts' body was in an advanced state of decomposition. B. Watts was dressed in a onesie and an underwear. I'm going fast through this because we've already went through this. We've already heard it all. I just want to make sure there's nothing I'm not seeing. The autopsy of C. Watts was conducted next. I photographed the victim before and after cleaning. C. Watts' body was dressed in diaper, underwear, and a t-shirt. C. Watts' body was in an advanced state of decomposition. As each autopsy was conducted, the victim's clothing was placed on a clean sheet. I photographed the clothing. It was packaged by Jay Weiner and transferred to the custody of D. Baumhover. All of the autopsies concluded at 19 hours. Okay, we're going to go here. If it's a picture, I'm going to go fast. Okay, photo, it just says photo identifier none taken. By Eric Bryan, crime scene analyst. Okay, close your eyes if you don't want to see anything. Okay, nothing yet, nothing yet, nothing yet. Okay, nothing. Okay, nothing yet. Okay, says Chris Watts CPR records. Okay, nothing, nothing. Okay, so hopefully there's no pictures. Okay, now it says the synopsis is the documents for the Chris Watts CPR training records, blah, blah, blah. We've already done this. Why is this? Standard procedures is to conduct 2 trainings per day. Watts attended the morning session on 3/14. And okay, so we know that he had taken CPR case. Okay, which would have been wonderful if this had went to trial, which they railroaded him into making sure it was not going to go to trial. Knowing that Chris's nature is that of being so easily intimidated, and he's such a people pleaser and not seemingly able to process intimidation or deal with confrontation of any type, I have no doubt that things like this were brought to his attention that would have been brought up in a trial. And he was like, oh, no, okay, that's going to, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. No, I can't. And because all of his letters were found to be held, not given to inmate Watts, which was a violation of inmate rights and protocol. They were held, not given to him until after the sentencing that afternoon. I'm sure that these things were brought to him, and Tambergler, be like, you knew CPR. I got the records. It shows. I don't think we have any idea of what all was said to him, threatened to him, and I don't know. I mean, why was it? Anyway, okay. I'm just going to leave it alone. Shut up. All right. So then more paperwork. And then follow up with friends of Shanann Watts about Shanann's alcohol consumption. Okay. Here we go. Why would they do that? Well, probably because they saw the alcohol amount in her autopsy report too and said, this isn't from decomp. How do we deal with this? Did she drink? And then everybody say, oh no, she would not, she would never. Oh, okay, sure. Just must have been from decomp of 36 hours in a pregnant woman. All right. I gotcha. Let me see. Okay, so Karen Epps, Christina Meacham. What is Christina Meacham's name as the female bodybuilder? It's like a diesel engine or something. So Christina Meacham turns into, I don't know. Very impressive. Very impressive. Very impressive weightlifting in competition. And then we got Cassandra Rosenberg. Their phone numbers are all taken out. And let's see here. What do we got? On Wednesday, October 3rd, 2018, iColorado Bureau of Investigation CBI field agent Greg Zettner contacted several of Shanann SWAT's friends to inquire about their knowledge of Shanann's alcohol consumption. I say, why would you do that? Unless you got a call from the coroner saying her blood alcohol level was high. Why would a pregnant woman be drinking? How are we going to deal with it? All right, I'm going to shut up. I contacted Christina Meacham, Cindy DeRousset, Cassandra Rosenberg, and Karen Epps via telephone. I contacted several of Shanann Watts' friends and inquired about their knowledge of Shanann Watts' alcohol consumption. Christina Meacham stated she had stayed at Shanann's house for about 2 months in 2017 when Shanann was recovering from neck surgery. Meacham said the only time she saw Shanann drink any alcohol during her stay with Shanann was on about August 20th, 2017. That's when the two of them had dinner at Shanann's house. Meacham said this was about a week before Shanann had her neck surgery, approximately to August 28, 2017. Meacham said they bought a bottle of white wine and they each had one glass of wine from this bottle during dinner. All right, no biggie. Meacham said she was with Shanann most of the time when she was in Colorado. Most of the time when she was in Colorado? She lived there for how many years? I don't get that. All right. Meacham said she took over the care of the children during... Okay, hold on. Meacham said she was with Shanann most of the time when she was in Colorado. Meacham said she took over the care of the children during this time, and she did some of the cleaning around the house while Shanann was recovering. Meacham said she did not recall ever seeing any alcohol in the house other than a half bottle of wine left over from their dinner on or about August 20th, 2017. All right. Where do you find a friend like Christina Meacham? I don't know, 1 in a million. I think she's a real nice lady. I always had to still take care of my kids recovering from surgery. I didn't have that luxury. Hubby was in the Navy, and you know what I mean. You just buckle up, shut up, and take care of the kids. You undo anything, bust out your stitches, and have to have it redone. And you still take care of the kids and clean the house. Alright, so anyway. Meacham also said that she's been on a few business trips with Shanann for their Thrive business. Meacham said alcohol consumption is not part of the Thrive healthy living lifestyle that Shanann was following. Meacham said that she did see Shanann have a few alcoholic drinks on these trips, but classified Shanann's alcohol consumption as very minimal and only, in parentheses, social drinking. Meacham said she has never seen Shanann drunk or even mildly intoxicated. Meacham said that she has known Shanann for more than 14 years. Meacham said that if Shanann was going to have an alcoholic drink, it would probably be wine. Ooh. Nice friend. Nice friend. She sees the best in her friend. Very nice friend. Cindy DeRousset. I think she's the beautiful one, right? Stated she was with Shanann in Arizona during the Thrive Conference on August 10 through 12, 2018. De Rosay said that she was in charge of the event in Arizona, so she did not have the opportunity to spend much time with Shanann. De Rosay said that she did have dinner with Shanann on Friday, August 10, 2018. De Rosay said she did not see Shanann drink any alcohol during this dinner. De Rosay said that Shanann seemed like she was not her normal self during the weekend. De Rosay said that Shanann appeared to be defeated. De Rosay said Shanann appeared to be, in parentheses, devastated. And spelled right. Just like the second time on the other letter. But anyway, devastated that Shanann was possibly losing her marriage. Again, people knowing about the marriage being over. She wasn't devastated. She was caught in her lies. Do you think that possibly on the Saturday that Christopher Watts, maybe even the Friday or the Saturday before the unspeakable Sunday, what if Christopher Watts went out to his mailbox and found another court summons and opened it up and found that they were still, or very much more, behind on the mortgage payments than he had any idea about? The very next time he got her alone, when she came back, I don't believe that she fell asleep and he was sleeping. I think he was there and said, "Let's have a conversation, ma'am." Because Shanann was having N.A. go and get the mail when she was out of town when Christopher Watts was at work. She was having her do that, to go and shuffle through the mail, make sure that anything in regard to her sneaky shenanigans were not there for Christopher Watts' ways. Was that what Christopher Watts went to go and shove underneath the seat in the Lexus because the cops were there? Did he drive in after the party that the girls went to and opened the mail, had it there on the frickin' passenger seat of the Lexus, waited till she came home, laid the shit bare, everything was on the table, and there was nothing she could say or do, and a very desperate situation turned out the way that he said that it did? I don't know. Makes me wonder. Huh. The defeated and the devastated. Why? She knew that her marriage was over months ago. Maybe even a year ago. She was caught in something. De Rosay said that she also had dinner with Shanann on Sunday, August 12, 2018, at the Thirsty Lion in Tempe, Arizona. De Rosay said that after dinner she drove Shanann to the airport for her flight back to Denver. De Rosay provided a picture of them at dinner. See attached photograph. De Rosay said she didn't see Shanann drink any alcohol during this dinner. De Rosay said Shanann was not much of a drinker, and she always wanted to be an attentive mom, so she didn't want to be impaired so that she could take care of the kids. She didn't want to be impaired so she couldn't take care of the kids. De Rosay added that because Shanann was pregnant, there was, in parentheses, no way Shanann had anything to drink, and 100% would not put that child in danger by drinking. Okay. What about oxycodone? Anyway, De Rosay said that Shanann might have had one drink in a social setting, and if Shanann were to drink it, would have been a glass of wine. De Rosay said that she and all of their friends did raise a lemon drop drink to honor Shanann at Shanann's funeral because that would have been a drink that Shanann would have liked. Well, if all of them are saying that she didn't drink, how would they know that she would have liked a lemon drop if she was a wine kind of girl? I don't know. I've never had a lemon drop. I tried wine one time, and the left side of my face swelled all the way up, and I got hives all over my chest. My heart rate went out of control, and my temperature went up to 106. There's something wrong with me. I can't drink properly. I was genetically bred to be a super alcoholic, and it just doesn't work with wine. I tried beer. Ugh. Same thing, hives, so something in the corn. I don't know. That's why I tried, some of the others, but, it doesn't work well. But anyway, the lemon drop does sound good. I like lemon things. I like it a lot. I have a sugar lemon zest candle from Bath & Body Works on my desk right now. I love me a slice of lemon cake. Might be one of my favorite things. Anyway, lemon meringue. What else is lemon that doesn't have a lemony aftertaste? Lemon water? I don't know. Beginning to sound like bubble gum. Cassandra Cassie Rosenberg said that she was, or is Cassie the super beautiful one? Are these ones most all of them, just drop dead gorgeous. Christina Meacham is a really pretty lady too. Oh, Cassandra Cassie Rosenberg said that she was with Shanann in Arizona during the Thrive Conference on August 10th through 12th, 2018. Rosenberg said she stayed in the same hotel room with Shanann during the weekend. Rosenberg said Shanann seemed to be depressed. Rosenberg explained that she said Shanann had been talking to her almost every day while Shanann was in North Carolina, and Shanann had expressed concern about the way Chris Watts was acting towards her. Rosenberg also said that Shanann was not feeling well because of the pregnancy, and she was also extremely busy with her Thrive business. Rosenberg said Shanann was not eating very well either. Okay, no, she wasn't eating well and hadn't crapped in weeks, but that's not putting that baby in danger. Come on. I was 16 and pregnant and taking a lot better care of my baby than that. I shared with you all that my mother-in-law's friend, they were all nurses in the surgical unit, and the one volunteered her time at the Planned Parenthood. And somehow, some HIPAA thing was broken, because by the time that I got home one day after going to the Planned Parenthood for the prenatal care and found out that I was very, very anemic, my mother-in-law had cooked up a plate of liver and onions. Told my pregnant ass to sit down and eat it. HIPAA? No HIPAA when you've got a Catholic mother-in-law with Catholic nurses that work with her and have known her for 800,000 years. I had to eat that liver. I was forced to be drinking my milk every day. And I was taught to eat very well for that baby in my stomach. Because I came there at my boyfriend's home, 85-pound scrawny-assed runaway, was pregnant with their son's baby. And was 85 pounds, 16 years old, 4'11". I'm pregnant. I gave birth at 150 pounds. I got back down to 93 pounds by the end of the summer, but I did what I could and made a big 8-pound, 2-ounce baby boy. I was stressed out. I was in high school and had a full-time job and was pregnant. Used my home ec to sew my baby the crib bumper pads and crib set. Here I am in home ec and everybody else is making cute little skirts and everything. And I'm over here making bumper pads. How to do what I had to do. I made sure that my system was working well. Eating and excreting. And if you're out of network, you can go to the Planned Parenthood in your area. But the out of network stuff just, She was taking it out on the baby, not eating very well. I'm telling you, that pisses me off. There's wonderful mother. And one of these, which is Cassie or whatever, is a nurse and knows better and should have been making sure that if Shanann was not eating, that she went to the dang ER, got some fluids, and had an ultrasound for that baby. Pushing this healthy lifestyle. All right, I'll shut up. Sorry, I watts out every once in a while. Rosenberg says she never saw Shanann drinking any alcohol while she was in with Shanann in Arizona. Rosenberg said, in quote, "There's no way that she would drink alcohol while she was pregnant." Rosenberg said that Shanann was not much of a drinker anyway. Rosenberg said that if Shanann did ever drink anything, it would be a glass of wine. Rosenberg said that Shanann told her if she did drink alcohol, it would cause a flare-up of Shanann's lupus and fibromyalgia. Rosenberg said that she has known Shanann for more than 2 years and has never seen Shanann drunk or even slightly intoxicated. Karen Epps stated she was with Shanann in Arizona during the Thrive Conference on August 10th through 12th, 2018. Epps said that Shanann said that she wasn't feeling good in general. Epps said Shanann told her she was having issues with Chris Watts, and she added that the pregnancy was making her feel bad. She'd been speaking with Shanann on the phone when Shanann was in North Carolina. During this time, Shanann complained she was feeling dehydrated and Shanann was vomiting because of the dehydration. So why didn't she go to the ER? Epps said she never saw Shanann drink any alcohol while she was with Shanann in Arizona. Epps said she couldn't remember a time that she had seen Shanann drink any alcohol. Epps said she has known Shanann for over a year. Nothing further. Geez, Etner. So what? Was that enough to say, oh yeah, well, they said that she wasn't drinking, so that high alcohol content. And there are people who have done episodes all over YouTube and everywhere else trying to figure out what that high level of alcohol meant. It doesn't make sense to anybody. And there are people who will argue that it was a normal part of decomp, and there are people who say no, it wasn't. So I don't know. But I do know that she had not been to the doctor, her regular doctor, and I do know that she had not received that previous prenatal care and was supposed to be, so there's no explanation for why there was oxycodone in her purse. Oh, left over from her neck surgery the year prior? Or just refilled locally, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. Anyway. CBI investigations, missing persons, Tamburglar, chain of command. Phone interview with Ray Gibson, Watts CPR investigator. Okay, ad nauseum. On Thursday, October 4th, Colorado Bureau of Tamburglar interviewed with Raymond Gibson with SRA Environmental LLC. Gibson was the CPR first aid investigator who taught Christopher Watts on May 16, 2017 at Anadarko Petroleum Platteville, Colorado office. Okay, we got it. We are not going to do the obsession with the CPR again. This whole article is basically outlining that yes, there was a CPR case. Okay, wonderful. We've already established that. Okay? What difference does it make? The only thing I see here is that they observed Gibson checked emotional considerations on the roster as a supplemental topic. Gibson explained emotional considerations was when he would discuss how the outcome of first aid CPR is not always positive and it can be difficult for some people to handle. Gibson said that he tells his students that there are things they can do so they do not internalize their emotions, i.e. speaking with family, friends, or a professional. And that's true. True CPR given to somebody who's going to die if you don't is brutal. They may vomit. They may vomit in their mouth. You may get some vomit in your mouth while you're trying. You don't always have a portable mask with you. It is going to break some ribs. It is violent. It is doing everything that you can to breathe life back into a dying person. It is not like it is in the class, and that's what he's saying. So we've got that there. Nice that he brings that up, because there are some confusing feelings that one goes through when seeing trauma and trying to be the one who tries to save a life. And sometimes the injuries are just too horrific. All right. So Gibson stated that he believes Sackett was still teaching the 2010 version. Okay, yes. Okay, Tamburger, thanks for obsessing about that Christopher Watts took the CPR. How many hours did you spend doing that? We got it. What does it matter? All right, so Jillian Ganley provided Kathy Holscher a thumb drive containing all the media files she downloaded with Facebook, YouTube, using open source intelligence techniques. The screenshots of text messages were provided to CBI agents by Shanann's friends directly from their cell phones. No narrative is included in the supplement and a report. Okay, gotcha. Chain of command. Interview with Olayinka Hamza. Olayinka? I've been using oil of Olay since I was 8 years old. I like the smell. Only the original, the pink stuff. Interview with Olayinka Hamza. Hamza happened to meet Shanann Watts and an unidentified friend at a restaurant, Mount Fuji, located at 14643 Orchard Parkway, Westminster, Colorado, in March or April 2018. Hamza said he spoke with Watts about family law issues, divorce in Colorado. Hamza is a licensed attorney. Ooh, we've heard about this now, haven't we? So this happened at the Mount Fuji restaurant. And this was from Hamza Olayinka. He's a person, and it says he is a black African male, not a juvenile, alias Hamza. Narrative begins on the... Oh, this will be juicy. We already know. We've heard about this. Okay, here we are. Let's sit back. Drink our tea. I've got lemonade mixed with tea. Iced tea. So I've got an Arnold Palmer I'm sipping on. Half lemonade, half iced tea. On Friday, October 5th, 2018, I, Colorado Bureau of Investigation CBI Field Agent Greg Zettner, interviewed Olayinka Hamza in connection to this case. Hamza indicated that he had a chance encounter with Shanann Watts and her unidentified friend at a restaurant in March or April of 2018. We're talking months before the separation was admitted and the unthinkable happened. Hamza said Watts asked him several questions about the divorce laws in Colorado. Now, my friends, this would also be right around the time when she found out that she was pregnant with her third child, after she just came home from yet another Thrive convention. So let's see here, because this is on page 1345. We'll include that one in our pictures. Because this timeline is interesting. Because it's March or April. But then again, this is only an attorney. Who knows if the attorney is telling the truth or just making it up? Heard of attorneys doing that before. Oh, gotta sip that tea. Alright, let's see here. Sip that tea. Alright. On Friday, October 5th, I met with Olayinka Hamza at the 720 South Colorado Boulevard, Glendale, Colorado, for an interview. The following summary... is a summary of the interview. For a complete account of the interview, please review the attached audio file. All right, so they recorded this too. They're going around with their 1982 edition of the tape recorder. Hamza told me the following. Hamza said in March or April of 2018, he and his wife happened to sit at a table at a hibachi-style restaurant in Westminster, Colorado, with Shanann Watts and an unidentified female friend of Watts. Hamza identified the restaurant as Mount Fiji, located at 14643 Orchard Parkway, Westminster, Colorado. Hamza said he thought he and his wife got to the restaurant about 8:30 p.m. Okay, this makes sense to me. The way that I had heard about this was that she walked up to this man in the middle of the restaurant, like, just picturing, basically what, like Ruth's Chris, whatever, right? And and she just waddles up to a man sitting there with his wife, who are sitting there right about to enjoy their $55 hot steak and sipping red wine. And she just starts bombarding him like, hi, I heard you're an attorney, so like, what was this, and what does this happen, and how do you do this, and what do you do this? And everybody's like staring at her at the restaurant like, what are you doing standing up, you tacky woman? Nah, 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 nah. No. When you go to like a hibachi style restaurant, which this is now explained, the table is shaped like a horseshoe, okay? And so often it is 4 on either side, 3 or 4 on either side facing each other, and then 2 to 3 at the end, and then the chef for that table, your hibachiist, comes in, and they're not called hibachiists, I'm just making that up right now. They give you Japanese ketchup, we call it soy sauce. And then they spray sake in your mouth because that's, the oil of the Japanese gods. Anyway, so on the inner part of the horseshoe where you walk in, you can still have 2 on each side of where he walks in. Okay? So like when we take the kids for their birthday celebrations, because the 3 of them have their birthday over the 2 days, right? Benihana was our tradition, okay? And then they were, as they got a little bit older, they were each allowed to bring 1 friend. So we would basically, hopefully, be able to occupy one of those things, because it is awkward AF when you go with just your spouse and you're sitting there looking at all these other people and you have no choice but to be involved in the other conversations at the table. And as the wine gets flowing and whatnot with other people, I told you I don't drink, my husband doesn't drink, whatever, but anyway, as alcohol gets flowing for them, people are talking loud and whatnot. I've met many interesting people over the hibachi over the years. Amazing, really cool, interesting things. Maybe I'll tell you about that someday. Maybe I'll tell you about the hibachi tables, the hibachi table stories. How about that? I'll do that someday. Let me write that down. We'll do hibachi table stories. And CPR emotions. There we go. So, okay. This adds up. you're sitting there, you're looking at people. This, because I was always like, how would this attorney have remembered this? Well, I guess, yeah, if it was out of place. Now, this makes sense. So let's set the sitting. Let's set the scenario. You're there, you've got, because then, at the collective grill, the chef is making everybody's food. Everybody orders, and your food is cooked all together at once, no matter what everybody's having. So let's say that, 3 people are having steak and 2 people are having chicken, and then, 8 of them have prawns as that, and so then those are all cut up. The appetizers all that done and doled out, and everything that you got, it goes to your table, and it's all hot and served at the same time. Then like the rice is all put up, the fried rice, and so it's a communal dinner, and all I mean, in all rights, I mean, it gets awkward sometimes if the people are really uptight. Oh gosh, yeah, oh yeah, we'll have to talk about the uncomfortable Kobe incident. Yes. Oh God, yeah. I'll have to tell you guys all about that one. So, anyway, we're now understanding how this happened. Very different from the way that it was told before. Hibachi style, got it. You remember who you spent 3 hours with sitting at a communal dinner. You do. So, I showed Hamza a photograph of Shanann Watts and Chris Watts, and Hamza positively identified Shanann Watts as the person sitting at his table. Hamza said Shanann Watts was wearing blue jeans and a faded orange blouse with the shoulders cut out. All right, I can see that. We're getting the feel. Hamza described Shanann Watts' friend as a white female with very distinct eyes, wearing a black dress, and Hamza learned later that this unidentified female was visiting from North Carolina. Hamza said there were 2 other people seated at the table with them, a mother and son from Minnesota. Hamza said he did not see Chris Watts at the table, but he did recognize Chris Watts from reports on television. Hamza said during the course of conversations with Shanann Watts and her friend, he told them he was an attorney, Colorado Attorney Registration number 44523. Oh, so he's in the bar. Not all attorneys are in the bar. Hamza said that the fact that he was an attorney seemed to catch the attention of Shanann Watts. Oh yeah, those male attorneys. Oh, that's an aphrodisiac to females. Oh, especially when they have a nice handmade Italian suit and they're wearing some smell good sauce. Ooh, girl. Hamza said that he told Shanann Watts and her friend that he practices nearly all areas of the law except family law because family law is very messy. Amen. Hamza said Shanann Watts began asking Hamza several questions about how the divorce laws work in Colorado. Hamza said that Shanann Watts told him that she'd been divorced once before, but that was in North Carolina. Hamza said Shanann Watts seemed to be interested in what could happen to children in divorce proceedings. Hamza said that he told Shanann Watts about the Spomher Doctrine in Colorado, which specifically addresses the out-of-state relocation of children in a divorce occurring in Colorado. Spommer Doctrine is spelled S-P-H-M-E-R. I'm going to look that up. Spommer Doctrine. Spommer Doctrine. S-P-A-H-M-E-R. Okay, Hamza said he told Shanann Watts that the presiding judge can't tell the custodial parent where to live, but the judge can decide on which parent gets custody of the children. Hamza continued and told Shanann Watts that the courts will make decisions when they think it is in which they think is in the best interest of the children. Okay, which means no matter what you present, the children go to the mom. Even if you have pictures of her
doing heroin, the needle in her arm on the steps of the courthouse. Mom gets custody. Anyway, Hamza said Shanann Watts seemed concerned about this doctrine because she had 2 children from her current marriage, 2 girls. So she's out there with a friend visiting from North Carolina, having a girls' night at the Benihana, sitting there trying to get a free consultation out of this poor guy trying to enjoy dinner at the hibachi table. That's crappy. That's like being there at the hibachi table and bending over and showing the doctor this growth that you have on your rump. Okay, it's very crappy. It's very cheap. It's tacky. It's bad, but you can see how this would happen. Hamza said he asked Shanann Watts if she was thinking about getting a divorce, and Hamza said Shanann Watts did not answer the question directly, but he did see her smile in response to the question. Hamza said he also noticed the unidentified friend smile as well. Oh, kind of like the Aristocats. We are Siamese, if you please. We are Siamese, if you don't please. Can't you imagine them giving that little smile like the Siamese cats? Oh, yeah, we're thinking of getting divorced. Yeah, because she just popped positive with a pregnancy and she had not boned Christopher Watts in a lunar cycle. So she had to go home and hop on Watts and hope that he didn't pay too much attention to the dates. Probably going to be a preemie at 11 pounds, or was it, she was saying she was further along. I don't know. I can't do the math right now. So anyway, Hamza said that after everyone at the table finished eating, they all stood up and Shanann Watts approached him and asked him a few more questions about divorce. Oh my God, you have no tact? Hamza said that he thought it was about 10 o'clock p.m. Hamza said Shanann Watts asked if it was possible for the courts in Colorado to give custody of the children in a divorce to the man in the case. Ooh, why was she afraid of that? What would possess a judge to do that? What would possess a judge to give custody to the man? Well, why would she be concerned about that? What did Christopher Watts know about her parenting style? Flowers in the attic. Or infidelity would do that? Anyway, Hamza confirmed that it was a possibility for the courts to grant the man custody of the children in a Colorado divorce case. It's a possibility, of course, depending on what you're after, what kinds of things he's going to bring up. I mean, of course. Or else they wouldn't have court hearings for custody. It would just be here's what happens. Of course it's a possibility. Hamza said Shanann Watts asked if divorce with children is a messy process, and Hamza said he told Shanann Watts that unless there is infidelity in the marriage, he would recommend doing everything possible to save the marriage rather than file for divorce. Do we need to hear anything further, or can we just bang that gavel and be bam? That was what she listened to. I'm going to say it again. This was free advice that was given by an attorney to Shanann Watts in a public setting, and this is what he said, and this is what had happened. Hamza said Shanann Watts asked if divorce with children is a messy process, and Hamza said he told Shanann Watts that unless there is infidelity in the marriage, he would recommend doing everything possible to save the marriage rather than file for divorce. Okay, there you go. And think about that. She probably knew that she'd been unfaithful. Now she just had to get it so that she could prove that he was unfaithful as well. Because if she was cheating, that's a problem for the custody. If he's cheating, she has a better chance. So she has to run him away enough, stop putting out, make him go elsewhere for the lovin', and then stick it to him. Anyway, Hamza said he got the feeling that Shanann Watts wanted to ask more in-depth questions about divorce, but he thought that she was a little hesitant because her friend was there. Hamza said he remembered Shanann Watts talked about wanting to have another child, but expressed concern for her health because the last time she was pregnant, she had issues with lupus flaring up. Hamza said Shanann Watts may have mentioned that her husband wanted a baby boy. Okay, like I said, she probably just found out she was knocked up again. And why would you talk about that at this communal dinner table? My God, it's not all about you. Enjoy the fried rice. Have some ice cream. You usually have choices of ginger ice cream, chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream. Hamza said he did not remember seeing Shanann Watts consume any alcohol during his time with contact with her. Hamza said Shanann Watts asked for Hamza's contact information and he provided her with his cell phone number. Cell phone number! Oh, dang. Hamza said a few weeks ago he was watching a telephone news program when he saw Shanann Watts' picture on the television as being the victim of a homicide. Hamza said he immediately recognized Shanann Watts as the woman he'd been talking to at the restaurant about a divorce in Colorado. Hamza said he then reached out to the Frederick Police Department to report he had some information about Shanann Watts. Nothing further. G. Zettner. Audio file of interview with Olayink Hamza. Bam. Bam. I'm going to leave this right here. Right now we're going to stop and leave this one at about an hour and a half because this is something really to ponder, if you will. Very interesting. And that timeline of it being March or April, that is something else. Because that goes right with the... If you please review my video of reasons why she lied about the pregnancy, about how far she was along. This puts this in my considerations. Very much. Very much. She just found out she was pregnant and she was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And let's see, 1346. So we're gonna end at 1346. And the next discovery page, so we went from 1464 to 1494 on the discovery. So 50 pages in the discovery. No. I can't. 30 pages. 30 pages and 26 pages. 30 discovery and 36 in the pages. And thank you for listening to me. And now I've got some more ideas to do one of my, commentaries like you guys like, where I'll stop talking so much at the beginning of the discovery. I know that probably really bothers people. And you probably have figured out that I babble for like 15 or 20 minutes. You guys have probably figured out, like, okay, let's fast forward to 15 to 20 minutes so she gets it out of her system, and then we can get to the what we want to listen to. All right. So I hope that you guys are all having a wonderful, wonderful day going into Thursday. Thursday is my favorite day. My date day with my husband for the last two years. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. We have made Thursday our date day. No matter what's happening, we sit down somewhere, across the table, look at each other without the kids, and talk like adults and have other people serve us. And we, sometimes we go places where, they've got half price appetizers and just order a bunch of appetizers for dinner. Costs us $26. Sometimes we do it up and go where it's going to be a couple $100. Sometimes we settle in at about $100. But it's just our time, and then we try better to cook throughout the week and, eat leftovers and stuff, so we're not eating fast food as much as we used to, just because, things were never organized, but just having that one night out where it's there. We often bring home leftovers for, lunch or whatever, and the kids love the leftovers. Then the kids kind of have learned to, have a night where they make their own little dinners and fend for themselves or whatever, So Thursdays are my favorite days. They've always kind of been my favorite. Thursday's a good day. I don't know. What day of the week is your guys' favorite? Well, anyway, Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for all of the love. I still feel it. Um, and I love y'all back. So thanks for listening. And I will close now.